McLaren Ultimate Series, the finest lineup of powerful cars that you can find. 4 limited production rare hypercars, which only the lucky few get to drive. First up, we have the car that started this epic array of vehicles, the McLaren F1, also known as the XP5 prototype. This amazing machine, released in the 90s and soon became the world's fastest production car. Well, when I say production car, I mean limited production car. During its production years from 1992 to 1998, only 106 were built, making it one of the rarest sports cars today. Next up, we have the P1. It was shown to the world at the 2012 Paris Motor Show and started selling in October 2013. Once again, this marvel of a machine was a limited production car, and all of the 375 P1s made were sold out in a month. The third car from the McLaren Ultimate Series is the McLaren SENNA. This car was named in honor of the successful Formula 1 driver Ayrton Senna. Just like the first two, the SENNA is a limited production hypercar which debuted in 2018. Only 500 cars will be made, all of which are hand-built. Unlike the P1, which was built in mind of drag races, for example, it has a better top speed, the SENNA was more focused on being a track car. This means that it has better handling and grip. Finally, the fourth and most recent addition to the Ultimate Series family, the McLaren SPEEDTAIL. This car screams aerodynamics. In fact, all that aero makes it the fastest McLaren in terms of top speed ever. Unfortunately, all the speed doesn't come cheap. Apart from being the fastest, it's also the most expensive McLaren ever. Coming in at $2.3 million, it's also one of the most expensive new vehicles today. Released in February 2020, this limited production hypercar will only be built 106 times, matching the production numbers of the F1. Alright, now you know the basics, let's talk stats. Gordon Murray, the designer of the F1, wanted his car to shine in terms of reliability and control, so he approached BMW to make an engine for him. The result was a 6064cc 6.1-liter V12 engine called the S70/2 that powered the rear wheels. This amazing creation pumped out 618 horsepower, which resulted in the car being able to reach a top speed of 386 kilometers and do 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 3.2 seconds. These stats were mind-blowing at the time, and frankly, they still are today. What's also amazing is that the F1 can complete the standing quarter-mile drag race in 11.1 seconds. That's faster than most current-day supercars. Another amazing fact is that the F1 only weighed 1,138 kilos. Since it was so light, it helped with the performance. Now we have the P1, which is an absolute speed demon. It's a bit different to the F1 in the way that it's a plug-in hybrid. This means that along with its 3.8-liter 3,799cc twin-turbocharged V8 that produces 727 horsepower, there's also a separate electric motor that produces 176 horsepower. All this adds up to a whopping 903 horsepower. That's a big leap from the F1, ain't it? Also, it's a big leap in terms of the performance that it pumps out. Weighing in at 1,395 kilos, the car is slightly heavier, but that doesn't stop it from reaching a top speed of 350 kilometers per hour, and that's just the electronically limited top speed. Apart from this, it can do the 0 to 100 kilometers per hour sprint in just 2.8 seconds, and it's been timed along the standard quarter mile in only 9.8 seconds. The SENNA, unlike the P1, has gone old school again and shed weight by not having an electric motor. This means that the SENNA's modified McLaren 720S engine does the job alone. It's a 3,994cc twin-turbocharged V8 that produces 789 horsepower. Yes, this means that it's down in horsepower compared to the P1, but because it's so much lighter, weighing in at only 1,198 kg, it means that performance stats easily. It can accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in the same time as the P1, 2.8 seconds, and carry on to reach a top speed of 340 kilometers per hour. In terms of the standing quarter mile, well, it can do that in just 9.9 seconds. As I said before, the SENNA was built for track driving and handling, not ultimate speed like the P1, though its stats are still very impressive. The SPEEDTAIL, well frankly, it leaves the other three in dust. It sports a 4-liter V8 that's twin turbocharged once again, but this time it's a hybrid system, a bit like the P1, because apart from the V8 it also carries a long electric motor. The total power output is a stunning 1035 horsepower. If you think that's impressive, just wait till you hear the top speed improvement. All this horsepower allows it to reach a max speed of 403 kilometers per hour. This makes it one of the top 10 fastest cars in the world as of today. McLaren says that it will do 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 2.9 seconds and go into 300 kilometers per hour in only 12.8 seconds. Okay, so it's a tenth of a second slower to 100 kilometers than the P1 and the SENNA. But hey, I'd say that small difference doesn't really matter, because you won't notice that time difference when you're driving, will you? The stats are still mind-blowing, especially the top speed. Oh yeah, the weight. Because it's had so much technology shoved into it, it's heavier than all the others, at 1,430 kilograms. Finally, we're going to look into the interior and exterior design of the four cars. The standard F1's exterior sports no spoiler to provide more aero and downforce. Instead, the whole underbody, rear diffuser, and various air intakes around the car did the job. What I love about the F1 are its butterfly-style doors. Moving on to the interior, the F1 had a 3-seater layout with the driver sitting in the center. You get a bunch of standard equipment with this car, such as reading lights, a stereo system, storage, and even specially designed luggage to fit in this car. Surprisingly though, you had no airbags. I expect this was to save weight and space. If I were to choose which one of these cars looks the best, I would pick the P1. The designer had to make the car as light and aerodynamic as possible, but at the same time make it look dramatic. This means that each part of the car has a purpose, and the number of parts that are put on for only visual purposes have been cut down dramatically. The doors once again a butterfly style, and something else that is cool is having glass above, in front of you, and around you in the cockpit. This really gives the car an open feel when you're sitting in it. You can definitely notice some technology has made its way into the interior of the P1 because of that slick infotainment screen in the center. Unlike the F1, the P1 only has 2 seats, much like a normal sports car. You can tell that they used a lot of carbon fiber in it to reduce the weight. As I said before, the SENNA was built for beating lap times, so each and every part contributes to speed. The SENNA's look is probably the most aggressive of the four, and each and every curve and part in the body is linked in some way or another to form the best aerodynamics. One thing that catches your eye straight away is that huge carbon fiber rear wing or spoiler. Now that thing keeps adjusting to improve airflow at different speeds. The exhausts on the SENNA have been specifically designed to match the aero of the rest of the car and to be as efficient and lightweight as possible. They look great too. Something that I like about this design are those thin strip of brake lights, and like the other two, those butterfly doors. The focus of track driving continues into the interior too, as the cabin has been designed to accommodate 2 racing helmets, race suits, and many other features. This does mean that it eats into storage space, though, but hey, it's a racing car after all, not a family hatchback. The seating positions are the same as the P1s, just like a conventional sports car. Last but not least, we have the SPEEDTAIL. I've got to say that it looks amazing. It almost looks as if the whole car is made out of a single carved piece of metal. It looks like this because of all the effort put into it to make it have as less drag as possible. One example is that this car features no side mirrors. Instead, it uses little cameras that pop out when the car is turned on. And when you go into velocity mode, which is for lots of performance, they just disappear inside and you have no mirrors at all. In case you didn't notice, the SPEEDTAIL doesn't have a spoiler like the F1, but there's a hidden secret. The rear edge of the car has these controllable surface elements called ailerons. At high speeds, these extend to give the car balance and an air brake. But, unlike the normal way that these ailerons are used, there's no separate moving part, because believe it or not, the carbon fiber body of the car actually bends. This allows the car to have as less joints or gaps as possible, resulting in an increase of aerodynamics. I find this absolutely amazing. One last thing about the exterior, The front wheels have a light carbon fiber cover over them. Why? To reduce drag, of course. You see, wheels create turbulence, which creates drag, which slows the car down. These covers do not rotate with the wheel. Instead, they stay flat, which keeps the air moving with the shape of the body without any interference. I could go on for ages talking about all the cool details that help this car go faster, but that would take all day, so I'm going to stop here. And of course, I have to mention that the SPEEDTAIL, surprise surprise, has butterfly doors. Inside, this car is completely packed with modern technology. Just take a look at all those screens. This car is fitted with electrochromic glass, which basically means that at the push of a button, they darken. This means that you need no sun visors, which once again helps in reducing weight, and also reduces driver distraction. There's even interior lighting made by LEDs integrated into the glass. The seating position is similar to the F1's, with the driver sitting in the center, and 2 passengers to either side. Well, I guess that's it for today. The McLaren Ultimate Series as of 2021. Which car is your favorite?